Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be once again talking about the cancellation of Star Wars The Acolyte because we have some pretty insane developments to go over. So I don't know if Acolyte fans have been playing too much Dustborn, but right now they are doing everything in their power to cancel, demonetize, deplatform, and even threaten people who made the high crime of criticizing Star Wars The Acolyte. Now, we have seen a narrative being spun even by the main actress of the show, Amanda Stenberg, where she is saying that basically this show is canceled because of alt-right bigoted trolls. And that narrative has been shared by fans of the series who are saying that bigotry is what got this show removed before its second season. Now, they genuinely believe that a lot of the criticism and even indifference of The Acolyte is the product of bigotry, and they even believe it is the sole reason it's being canceled, despite the fact there's just not enough interest in this show. In fact, look at this petition. This is the main petition for the renewal of The Acolyte. It has only 70,000 signatures. I have to tell you how bad that is. It's been out for about a month at this point, okay? This is one of the most recognizable and beloved IPs in the entire entertainment industry, and that's all they can do. To make this even more obvious of, how bad it is, the Hoyoverse boycott petition has nearly double the amount of signatures as this one for The Acolyte. The terminally online teenagers who can't even stop playing the game they're boycotting were able to mobilize better than the Acolyte fans. Just let that sit and rest with you for a moment. But anyways, what happens when Twitter users don't get what they want? They lash out with many violent rhetoric, including death threats, as we see here. So this was the initial wave a few days ago of people sending death threats to the creators of The Acolyte as well as Disney, saying things like this: "I'm so sick of Star Wars fans, you will all die and go to hell. The Acolyte canceled because of racist, effing, misogynistic jerks. I'm gonna kill all men on the planet. Racist Star Wars fans gotta die, man, like no other way around it." People basically blaming Disney for allowing the racist dude bros to win. Down here, this person tagging the official Star Wars account saying, "Fun fact, I'll game end you. If you don't retract the news about The Acolyte, you gave it one effing month. Hashtag renew The Acolyte." And things would get worse because I guess they got bored of attacking those parties, so they started going after various content creators like Star Wars Theory, who is not only a successful channel, but also one who has been very critical of The Acolyte. Now, what did they do to him? Well, on a post basically announcing some recent news about him, another slew of death threats. Let's read a few of them. This person saying, "What if a baby grand piano just dropped on his head? My thoughts are that we need to do a public beheading of Star Wars Theory." This person saying, "I think we'd be all better off as a species if we just yeeted these people into the sun. The Star Wars fandom just needs to be nuked. Someone get rid of this man. Can we game end this MF?" Now, I don't think Star Wars Theory was too worried about these threats, even though they are violent, of course. These are the same kinds of people who would have a full-fledged panic attack if the cashier at their local grocery store tried to start a conversation with them, okay? These people are clowns. But they would find new targets. This was a couple days ago, a series of what seems like coordinated attacks to try to deplatform and demonetize these channels right here. You can see it's Geeks and Gamers, RK Outpost, and Nerdrotic. These are three successful channels, again, who also were critical of Star Wars The Acolyte. Now, people are trying to cancel them for basically two reasons, right? They say that these people are bigots and that their criticism of Star Wars The Acolyte was not valid criticism, but instead the product solely of bigotry. And on top of that, they also say they should have their monetization removed because they're apparently grifters, which I don't believe any of these people are grifters. But on top of that, there is no YouTube policy about grifting. It is literally a mindset. Like, are we doing thought crimes now? We're gonna have to assume what someone's thinking when they're making content, what their motivations are. In fact, these channels could literally look at the camera and say, "Yes, I am grifting. I don't care about Star Wars. I'm just talking about it for money." That wouldn't violate any YouTube policies, and also they're not grifters in the first place. This whole thing is ridiculous. Now, these campaigns to try to cancel these people, there's nothing new. We saw this one from about a month ago, people making long threads attacking these various channels. But this is the most recent campaign that happened on September 4th. So here is one of many posts, but I believe this was the first one where an account called Rewriting Ripley Pod made this very crazy post tagging YouTube, encouraging them to demonetize these channels. And also they included this very deranged 2.5 minute long video. I will not subject you to it, but I will instead explain what they did with this video. So basically, they took comments out of context from these channels and tried to make them look like a bunch of meanies, and then they interwove those into a 2016 ABC News report that has nothing to do with any of this. They tried to frame this video like these ABC reporters were reporting on these YouTube channels when they were not. In fact, half of the video is showing what that actual interview was about and that report was about, and it contains a bunch of quotes from Milo Yiannopoulos, who has nothing to do with anything. He has nothing to do with Star Wars. He has nothing to do with these YouTubers, but they interwove half the video of just quotes of him saying things about something that's totally irrelevant and try to make it seem like they were somehow connected. It's ridiculous. And they'll go on in their further explanations where they basically try to say that these channels were inspired by the words of Milo from back in 2016. It's crazy. I've seen genuine conspiracy theorists make more coherent arguments than what these people are trying to do. But within the hour of that post and video going up, a slew of posts that all look the same happened in a very coordinated effort. So people making these posts, tagging Team YouTube, and also providing the same 2-page document. And all of this is an attempt to deplatform and demonetize these 3 channels. And it's, like I said, a very coordinated effort. And also, among these people calling for these cancellation attempts, there's content creators as well. And trying to misuse the YouTube community guidelines to silence and punish people you disagree with, that is the cardinal sin of content creation. It is cowardly beyond belief, but these people are just shameless. They're so mind broken by these channels that they don't even care anymore. They have no self-awareness. But here is the document, right? So it starts off by saying this: Dear Team YouTube, last week, actor Amanda Stenberg, she/they, posted candid comments to Instagram about the rampage of bigotry and vitriol that she has received since leading the cast of The Acolyte, the latest addition to the Star Wars universe. Stenberg's experience is not new. In fact, this known tactic was initially provoked by former Breitbart News editor Milo Yiannopoulos, who aggressively targeted Ghostbusters actor Leslie What are we talking about, bro? They are literally trying to frame Milo's comments about a Ghostbusters actor from 2016 as the inspiration for what's happening with these 3 channels. They believe they watched this interview from 2016 and it's now completely changed the way they think, and they're basically taking a play out of the book of Milo. It's crazy. And going down here to the facts, I'm just going to cover the first point and give you an idea of how far of a reach these attempts are. So the first one says, in 2018, Geeks and Gamers encouraged harassment against Vietnamese American actor Kelly Marie Tran. Leading up to Tran's departure from Instagram due to prolonged harassment, Geeks and Gamers published nearly 15 videos relevant to Tran's Star Wars episode. Basically, I will show the actual video that they are referencing. One of the videos they are citing as the hate campaign and the bigotry that they directed towards this actress. And actually, Geeks and Gamers would show that actual video, and I will show you. This is what they consider bigotry and something worth deplatforming someone over.
You can go watch this video. It's an hour long. It's a live stream where as soon as the story broke, I got up and pointed my camera at my computer and I talked to my audience live. You can go watch the whole video for yourself. This is the targeted harassment that they are claiming Geeks and Gamers put against Kelly Marie Tran.
But yeah, many times I've said Kelly Marie Tran is actually a sweetheart. I think she's every interview I've ever seen with her, she comes off as a genuinely sweet person. And I think she's incredibly likable. Incredibly likable. You know, and it sucks that her character was so terribly written and terribly, you know, fleshed out, because the character Rose did not take advantage of all of the charm that Kelly Marie Tran has as a human being, and that sucks, but that's not her fault.
And as you can see, when it comes to the evidence provided by these series of documents, they are just completely ridiculous. And people are questioning, well, okay, you're calling these people bigots. You can see this interaction. This person posted the original documents, and this person says, hey, can you post a YouTube video that fits the definition of racism? Can you please show us some actual proof that these people are genuine bigots. And then they reply by saying, if your first instinct is to argue with this, I really don't care how I come across to you. They literally are just being asked for the truth, and they say, I'm not going to argue with you, be gone. Like, you're supposed to just sit there and accept whatever they're trying to say. It's so shameless. It's so shameless. And they continue on to say this in the document, action required. And they tell YouTube to immediately and permanently demonetize these channels. And they, of course, give the resources, which we just mentioned. So the responses to this have been crazy. So a lot of Acolyte fans are relishing in this targeted harassment campaign. You have a user here saying this, it honestly feels like this scene is happening in real time, and I couldn't be happier for it. The CIA couldn't even torture me hard enough to make me post something like this. But here's some more camaraderie here amongst the posts. So this person down here replying to one of the main posts says, well said, Molly. I've started reporting a few channels myself that have engaged in this targeted harassment. Hopefully YouTube will improve in banning / demonetizing these people with more people addressing them / bringing this to light. By the way, the only thing being violated here in regards to terms of service are people who are falsely reporting. That is against YouTube's terms of service. You can't just falsely report people. And clearly, if you're working on what they're trying to sell you here and using that to report people and using that as the justification, you are filing false reports. And we see more of this. People just raising their own thoughts about this whole situation. This whole thing is a targeted harassment campaign. They're singling out these 3 channels and saying they should be punished for things they didn't do. That is targeted harassment on Twitter, for example. This whole thing is literally targeted harassment to try to frame people as targeted harassers. It's crazy. But of course, we would get a response from YouTube. They would respond to several of these posts, but this one would be the most popular response, where they respond to the entire claims here saying, thanks for reaching out, just heard back and confirmed that this content is not violative and will remain up. We totally understand you may not agree with this decision, but we reviewed this video very carefully against our policies. And you can see YouTube, or Team YouTube here, getting 12,000 likes, almost triple the number that the original post here got. I think the people have chosen a side here. And also, I think this is the first time in history I have witnessed Team YouTube ratio anyone on Twitter, because typically they're the ones getting ratio because people are upset with their decisions, but not in this case. So that kind of tells you where people are thinking. But what happens when people on Twitter don't get their way? Yep, more death threats. So this user, like several others, say this in response to YouTube. If I ever catch the YouTube CEO, and they play a scene from American Psycho where Patrick Bateman shoots this attendant. So yeah, that's a threat. That's nice. Really showing the true colors instantly when they hear something they don't like. And yeah, a lot of people tagging YouTube this whole time. Someone might be tagging the FBI based on stuff like this. This is a crazy out-of-pocket thing to say. And on top of that, there was a lot more kind and tolerant Star Wars fans who are not taking YouTube's decision very well. And shout outs to this user for providing a lot of these screenshots. I'll put a link to their account in the description if you want to see more of these crazy reactions. So here's basically a little compilation for some of those screenshots. And people are trying to spin a new narrative. They're not just mad at these YouTube channels anymore. They're mad at YouTube itself. Even though less than 24 hours, they were groveling at the feet of YouTube saying, oh, we know you'll do the right thing. But as soon as they do something that they didn't want, now they're turning around saying YouTube has always been bad and that they are now platforming bigots, that they're cowardly, and also that they have picked a side, that they're now responsible for everything that's coming out of this in the spread of racism across the platform. And to wrap this up on a lighter note, some people were just getting desperate, okay? And I love a quick short story with 2 screenshots here. This person saying how it started / how is it going? So this person says, this is an actual neurotic thumbnail, by the way. And of course, they would show another one saying, another one. And then they would say this in response to people making fun of them for being offended by this, saying, I got a lot of Mexicans that are telling me they don't care or they find it funny. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to see your savior complex get mocked. You're trying to be offended on behalf of people because you think you know better than them. But anyways, that's the situation for now. A lot of unhinged behavior, a lot of witch hunts, and hopefully this all just continues to work the way it should be, and these people get mocked and YouTube ignores them because these people aren't breaking TOS. we have reached a critical stage where trying to deplatform people is the natural response for people when they see someone who dares to disagree or criticize something they like. It's really just outlandish to see how normalized this is. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll put a link to all these channels in the description. You should go check them out. And as always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.